what's up, everybody? It's your girl, Professor Cinephile, and I'm really excited to discuss this film today. It is a short film, which I have not reviewed a short film yet, so this is the first time. I also have an interview with the creator, so that's always special whenever I can get an interview and talk more about the project. So that'll come after my review. So the film is called Black Man, Black Man, and it is by Frank Abney. And I follow well, it's interesting because I follow his fiance on social media and then kind of started following him and paying attention to his work. And he's a fantastic illustrator who has worked on some of your favorite projects, including films like Coco. And I just think that we need to amplify more Black animators because they're there, but they don't necessarily get the same attention as other people, right? So this film really it's really timely. And I'm going to say that as somebody, again, some people may not know, I am a retired mental health social worker. And um, I would say working in New York City over all those years, the majority of my clients or participants, people that I worked with, were Black men, Black and Latino men for sure. And a lot of the mental health issues that they experienced, they didn't just start when they were older, right? They didn't start because they had, substance abuse issues or homelessness. Those things were actually often consequences or like symptoms of a larger issue, right? And so we've been talking a lot about Black men's mental health. And I'm not gonna kind of get into that too much because we do discuss it in our interview, but it's really important right now. And so a film like this to come along and kind of address it, I thought was really timely. So I enjoyed, it is black and white and it is narrated by Aldis Hodge and Yvette Nicole Brown. Aldis Hodge is also one of the producers. His production company is involved in that. And it's really kind of like this love letter to Black men written by themselves, right? Like you can kind of think of it as, here's a Black man talking to himself, and not just himself in the present, but also his inner child, right? They pour in affirmations and really positive things to remind this man that despite everything that he is dealing with in the world, there is more. Right? There's more, and that he deserves love, he deserves joy, he deserves to have peace. And I think that this gets situated in a conversation that can unfortunately become antagonistic because there are those who believe that, there's a lot of Black men that don't actually want help. They have mental health issues, but don't actually want help because patriarchy comes in and tells men that it's weak to seek help, right? Or that, there's the cultural issues that Black people just don't, we don't have those things. And I think within recent years, we've seen more people talking about depression and anxiety, for example. But I always push back and say, that's not the only things that people are dealing with, right? Like people do have schizophrenia, they do have bipolar disorder, they do have obsessive compulsive disorder, they do have agoraphobia. There's all these other things that we're not as willing to talk about. And so I just think that if we can have films like this that can kind of get us into having those conversations, maybe more people would be open to seeking the help that they need. I also do some political streaming, and one of my regular co-hosts is a Black male clinical psychologist who, he offers a Black men's wellness group. And I thought that this would probably be really great for those kinds of groups to show this particular film. So one of the technical, on the technical aspects of it, I talked about the importance of like the mental health and stuff like that. But as a film itself, again, it's a short film, black and white. There's a lot of imagery of a Black man making his way through the day, really thinking about things. It's very like heavy kind of I mean, it's a mental health film, but it's also like really coded about what a man is thinking about, how he's processing the world about him. And you can see the imagery in that really clearly. Some of the shots are just gorgeous. Like they just really kind of take you into this headspace. And that's what I think really stood out for me about the film is that it really does kind of transport you into a Black man's headspace visually, right? The narration is cool. There was I did have a question about, and I actually we discussed this. So But I think if I had a critique of this, it's just this idea. And again, this is not even about like the filmmaking itself, because I think that it's a wonderful film. Please go watch it. Like it's fantastic. It's just I struggle with the tension of kind of Black men dealing with mental health issues and then Black women kind of coming in and oftentimes being positioned as the ones who are supposed to lift Black men up. But we don't see the same in return, right? When Black women have mental health issues, which, are just as severe, with the added layer of dealing with the issues of sexism and things like that. We don't often see a lot of discussion about how Black men are supposed to affirm Black women, lift us up, pour life into us. I'm watching it from that lens. I'm definitely a proponent for women. But that doesn't mean that he did not have to make the film that he wanted to make, right? And so I don't want anybody to read that as though I'm criticizing his decisions. I'm just questioning that, and I'm hoping that it actually opens people up to conversations, because I connected more when I can hear Aldis Hodge's voice talking like to this Black man, because I feel like that is so important. And it makes me think about like how we used to have culturally, our people used to do rites of passage, and they would bring Black boys together as they are transitioning into manhood and have them go out into like the wilderness or what have you, and kind of bond with each other and learn more about themselves and connect with each other. And unfortunately, European patriarchy has and their ways of being have disconnected us from that communal practice. And so people try to replicate it like in colleges and universities through fraternities and stuff, but they have embraced a lot of the European ways of being, and they haze each other and treat each other like they're enslaved and things like that. So I think that we've moved away from that. And so for me, I'm watching this film and I'm like, yes, man, please talk to yourselves, talk to each other. And when the woman comes in, my question with him, and he does, we discuss this, is like, is this his sister, his mama, his wife? Like, who is this that's pouring into him? Because I think that that makes a difference. There's a difference between me pouring into my Black son and telling him that he is amazing and all these kinds of things, because I'm his parent, I'm his mother, I brought him life, and that's what I'm supposed to do. But it's different when a romantic partner, for example, somehow takes on the role of therapist. And so I was just in that space a little bit, but you'll see more in the interview. But just on a technical level, it's an enjoyable short film. I think there are some scenes that are just really, really beautiful. It is engaging. It's moving, like, oh man, So I think that you'll like that part too. Right now they're doing the film festival circuit, which is fantastic. We always love to see that, especially when they're independent artists doing their things, raising money, Kickstarters and things like that. So that's also awesome. And then, being able to talk about it and being able to share this, I'm happy to amplify this. I'm happy to get this out here. So go ahead and enjoy the interview that I have with Frank Abney discussing Black Man, Black Man. All right, everybody. I reviewed this film for you all, and I am so honored here to be sitting with the creator, the mastermind, the director, the animator, the person who brought this wonderful piece to us. And can I just call you Frank? This is Frank Abney the third, right? The
Yeah.
third. That got that
The third
lineage
one.
going on. I can just call you Frank. I feel like we're all friends by now, so we're just whatever. In my mind,
Yeah,
we're
Frank
Frank.
is good.
Okay, Frank is good. All right. So Frank, oh my goodness. Like, I was digging into your life. I actually know you through your significant other who I got connected with, and then I started seeing
Yeah.
your stuff. And I was like, oh, I know who that is. And, so I'm glad that we got the opportunity to come and talk. Um, Black man. Oh my gosh, how timely and relevant this is
Mm,
right now. Um, Tell us a little bit about, what inspired this and where you were coming from, and how much of you is represented in this film.
yeah. So I mean, first I appreciate you wanting to chat about it, and meeting through my fiance, who
Mhm.
she's actually if y'all see in three acts that she's actually more of a cinephile than me, so
She's
she
awesome.
watches
She's
everything.
so dope. I love engaging her because we can talk film.
Yeah. But I mean this I always tell people like this short film was more for me. Like
Mhm.
that was, coming from the studio system, and I've been working in animation for like the last 18 years or so, and you work on all these studio projects, films, games, stuff like that, and you it can influence how what you choose to make, and making things for the industry and for the industry's consumption, and in some ways approval. And I was like, this one was for me. This one was I it started off from a poem actually, about 3 or so years ago, and it was just feelings that I was dealing with, and seeing stuff happening in the world, and um just I was feeling a certain way. I was like, because
Yeah,
a lot of
yeah,
times, especially when you're at work, and
yeah.
out there in the world just navigating, you can't always present yourself as how you feel, and
Uh,
you plaster on the smile and go about your day.
mhm,
But I just had to jot down these thoughts of how we're taught to navigate from boy to man.
mhm,
At least I'm speaking from my own experience, where
mhm,
I was raised by a single mother, and so there's that protection aspect that
mhm.
you want to make sure you're okay when you're out in the world, because it's not always okay for any of
Right,
us.
right.
And so with that, I think with some of that came, okay, I have to be very strategic in my feelings,
Mm,
and what I can let out, what I have to keep in.
mm,
And in some ways that can make you feel like, oh, do I not deserve to feel these things too?
mhm,
Do I
mhm,
not
mhm,
deserve,
mhm, mhm.
love? Do I not deserve understanding? Do I not deserve to be afraid, to be angry, to, all those things? And I just got to writing
Mm,
this stuff down, and I was like, I think I want to do something with this. I didn't know after my last short if I wanted to do
mm.
another short film just yet, because
Yeah,
it
no,
takes a
and he's
lot.
talking about Canvas, everyone. Canvas
Yeah,
is on
canvas.
Netflix. Um, that one, I was just like, whoo, please, please, yeah, it's on Netflix. Please go watch it. It's Canvas. It is very touching.
Thank you.
I loved that. I'm big on short films, and I've
Thank you.
noticed that animated shorts, um, the ones that most often get celebrated are from Asian
Mm,
creators. And so we don't
mm,
see a whole lot of animated shorts from Black creators that are getting the platforms like,
mm,
Netflix, or getting awards like the NAACP Image Award that you won, right, for animated short. Like
yeah.
that, we don't see that. We just don't. Like, I don't care what nobody say. We really just don't see that. And so that was really like big. And please, everybody, go watch Canvas, but kind of thinking about that, right? So Canvas came out, what, 5 years ago?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
2020, December 2020. Mm.
right. And that one was a journey. I was, reading that one took several years as well to kind of
Hmm.
bring that, but it was well worth the wait, right? So then you
Thank you.
came and then you wanted to do Black Man, Black Man. And in some ways, people can say it is like a love letter to Black men,
Mm,
this
yeah.
just massive encouragement, and kind of like big ups to the Black man, right? Which is so important because, brothers face so much in this world that is
Hmm.
constantly bringing them down. The racism, even, patriarchy is a burden, and, brothers
Yeah.
dealing with that. And in some ways, it is also, at least from my receiving of it, it's also like guidance, right? So
Mm,
the idea of this nurturing this child, right? Nurturing your inner child as a
yeah.
man, and reconnecting with that inner child who perhaps was forced to grow up too fast, maybe because of circumstances.
Yeah.
And correct me if I'm wrong, I read that you lost your father as a young person, right?
Yeah, I was five years
Yeah,
old.
you were five. And so we have so many situations. People would see you and your mom and probably assume your dad just left. And so there's so much baggage and so much that we carry, especially black men that they carry really this opportunity to talk about this need to reclaim
Mhm.
that inner child and reconnect with that inner child and heal that inner child. And so I was
Yeah.
thinking a lot about that. I've been thinking about mother wounds a lot lately, and all the brothers
Mm.
that I know who have had severe hurt as a child, some either traumatic event related to one of their parents or some harm. And so many brothers are carrying that around. And
Mhm.
so that made me think about, and I just want your perspective because I talk about this a bit in the review. You have Yvette Nicole Brown and Aldis Hodge are doing the narration, and they're kind of going back and forth, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so when I hear this woman coming and telling Black men, you deserve this, you are loved, you things like that. I'm curious about some of the choice for that because I think for me, I really where this shines the most for me is when the man is talking to this, kind of narrating it. So like when Aldis's voice comes in and he's
Mhm.
talking because so many Black men have been uplifted by Black women in so many ways, but not necessarily
Mhm.
getting that same affirmation from the men. So for me,
Mhm.
that was really powerful that it was a man who would say that. So when the woman came in for me, my question was like, is this his mom? Is this his lover? Is this a friend? Like, who does this womanly figure represent? And is that up for interpretation? Do you have an answer? Like, I was
No,
really
yeah.
thinking about that.
Yeah, no, that's I mean she represented the voice from above,
Mm,
that guiding spirit, whatever your beliefs are, but that guiding spirit, that voice from above that's confirming like those feelings that you're having, like it's okay. It's okay to
mhm,
feel the fear. It's okay to feel shame. It's okay to shed a tear. It's okay to feel insane, like it's okay, and you deserve your seat. You deserve to be heard. Like all those things. It's like a confirmation of
mhm.
you're not losing your mind. Like it's okay to feel those things.
Yeah.
And so, so from the Black man's perspective, from my perspective, it's kind of like, um, all right, I'm good. And just wanting to relay that to my child self,
Mhm, mhm,
you're gonna be
mhm,
good. Like you're good.
mhm.
Like it's gonna be some things, but
Yeah.
we got this road ahead, but we got it. Like just feel
Mhm.
all these things and present your best self to the
Right.
world.
As I think about where we can situate this film in the broader discourse about Black men's mental health, right?
Mm,
You have folks out there that are working on this. There are brothers. A partner that I work with on my podcast, he runs a monthly men's group. He's a psychologist and he runs a
mm,
monthly group for men and kind of bringing them together and kind of
nice.
he's leading that. And there's other folks I know. I'm connected to so many brothers that are trying to do this. But then you have the brothers that are like, I don't have access to this. Nobody listens to me. The women don't listen to me.
Mm,
And it's kind of like, how do we situate this? Because it's so affirming and encouraging that I feel
mm,
like we just hear so much discourse about, well, women just don't get us. That's why I thought it kind of stood out to me that there's this
mm,
womanly voice saying this,
mm,
because that kind of seems to go in direct contrast with this larger discourse. Well, women just, we can't be vulnerable around women. Women don't care about, Black men's mental health. And it's like, that was, so that, I don't know,
mm.
that's a
No,
question there. It just kind
yeah,
of stood out
no.
for me that I was like, here's somebody showing that there's women that do care and will
Yeah.
support you and will love you and will be there. And so I thought that that was really
I
necessary.
mean that's part of why it was important to have that voice from above
Mhm.
represented by a Black woman, because I mean I was raised by a Black woman. I don't have any brothers. I was around my sister, my mom, I have aunties, my cousin, like there's I feel like a lot of times when we feel alone like that, and we feel like there may be no one there, yeah, in some cases it could be that, but then also you never know who's feeling the same way you are, and they feel the same way, so they don't say it. You feel that way,
Yeah,
you don't say it, and
yeah.
sometimes it takes breaking through that vulnerability to just be like, I don't know how y'all are feeling, but because I have a group chat with my guys, and I told them not too long ago. I was like, man, I had to put this work down. I just feel burned out. Like I'm just having
Mhm.
that space to like just say stuff.
Yeah.
And of course my fiance, we talk every day, and that's and having being able to be vulnerable with her and not be judged by how I feel, and like feeling these things makes me less than a man or something. Or I'm not on that macho shit anyway. But or sorry, I don't know if I
Oh, you can
can
totally
I'm
cuss.
I'm not I'm not on that stuff
I'm
anyway,
never
but
getting
like
monetized on you. I never ever. So
but
it's all good.
so
Yeah.
having that and growing up the way I did, I guess I always had that comfort there. And you know um there's moments where I lost that and had to come back to it.
Mm,
But I just feel like you never know what other people are going through. So as much as we're different, there's a lot of things that we have
mm,
that are similar, and we go through the same things. Even though this film is called Black Man, I feel like it's not just it's coming from me, but I'm like, everybody knows what it's like to navigate, and not be able to present that those true things about ourselves in the
mm.
world. So,
Did you know Yvette and Aldis before this? Like were they like,
oh
hey,
yeah.
can y'all come and do this? Can you come do this for me? I'm always grabbing people. I'm like, can you come do this for me, please? Like you
Yeah, I
worked
did.
with them before?
I
Yeah.
did. Yeah,
Okay.
so I mean, aside from their great work, like I just, and it wasn't just because I knew them already. It was like I when I'm doing stuff, I hear a voice, and
Yeah.
I mess with Al sometimes, like because he has that
Yeah,
that
yeah.
that presence in his voice. And I'm
Yeah.
like, when I was thinking about this, I was like, oh man, yeah, he would be great for this. And then and Yvette has such a range in her voice, and she has this softness
Mhm.
and this welcoming
Yeah.
voice, but there's also this presence there as well. And I was
Mhm.
like, I just thought those two would be
Ain't many people
great.
working harder than her right now. Ain't that many people working harder than Yvette? Like every time I turn around, I'm like, there she go. She better get them checks. I know that's right. I heard her voice. I said, "Oh, I know who
She
that
is
is. You better
great.
get them checks." So you had the music, Jermaine Stegall. Is that how you pronounce his last name?
Stiegel.
Stegall. And
Mhm.
you worked with him on Canvas as well. How
Yeah,
did y'all
yeah.
get connected?
Oh yeah, I mean, I think it was when it may have been when we were doing the Kickstarter for
Okay.
Canvas or something. But yeah, I was getting he just shot a shot. He sent me a
Yeah.
message. He has primarily live action credits, but then
Hmm.
he was mentioning that he wanted to get into that
Yeah.
animation space. And I'm not when I'm hiring people for stuff, like I'm not looking at, oh, what have you done that's related. If the work is good, the work is good.
Work is good.
and
Right.
and
Right.
so I listened to his stuff, and I was like, oh man, like and when we talked, we just had this rhythm that's like, he knows what I'm talking about. Even when I'm trying to find the things, but I'm like, okay, let me grab this reference. I'm like, okay, this sound, like if Bill Street could talk, but then
Hmm.
this part from like
Yeah. And
just
then he knows what you're
trying
talking
to,
about. Yeah.
yeah, and he
Those kinds of
puts these things
collaborations are
together.
so
And
important. Like those can be like really long, like you can have longevity there. I think about
Mhm.
Kugler, Ryan and Lee,
Oh yeah,
how they've been
yeah.
working. They met in school, those kinds of collabs are great because people get to know you. Same with like Spike. I mean, Spike constantly
Mhm.
works with the same kind of people because sometimes you just need somebody who knows where you're going with this and can do that.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that you mentioned the Kickstarter thing because that's something that I think about a lot in terms of Black creators,
Mhm.
especially right now, especially in the US, that are kind of facing so much pushback, especially when things are
Mhm.
culturally relevant. Like you're making, this short film is about
Yeah.
Black men's mental health and Black men kind of dealing with themselves. Like,
Mhm.
and a lot of people have been talking about like some struggles and difficulties. Like, what is it like right now trying to get funding, trying to get support, getting
Oof.
people on board with the projects, getting it out there. What's it like? What's the climate like right now for Black creators like yourself?
I feel like It's been tough. Like that's the quick answer. It's been tough because I feel like there is so much up for question in terms of how something will do, or what what an audience reaction will be, or what. And I feel like the whole risk thing that's been happening in
Mm-hmm.
Hollywood a lot over the years. I mean, it's nothing new anyway, but I
Right.
feel like even more so now, like since the
Yeah.
boom of streaming, there's you know so many risk conversations, and I
Mm,
feel like that's been the big thing that's been hitting is like anything that's remotely original, or something that's not based on an existing property, or based on something familiar. It's tough to get through because they don't know. And I feel like with algorithms and other
mm,
ways that people kind of gauge how something will do, that's why these other films that do well, they don't even, oh, that came out of nowhere, because like
mm,
you're going off of these numbers. And I feel like as we focused more on that stuff over the years, my fear was that the powers that be were
mm.
gonna lose their sense of their creative instincts, and know what, like, just trusting their gut. If something feels like, oh man, I really connected to this, and I think a lot of other people will, because of this universal feeling, and this and this and that. Like, just trusting that, and not just like because of who's in it, or because of and I just, around a year and a half or so ago, I actually took a step away from the studio side of things, and
Okay.
I returned to game development. Like,
Yeah.
but I was like, I want to do my film stuff independently.
Yeah.
Like, and so I'm like, I don't, I'll try to find a way to make it work, but
Do
I
you
don't
feel
want to
like
go through those
people
things again.
can trust you though because you've got like, come on, you've got credits. You've got like you were like at Pixar, you were doing like Big Hero 6 and Coco and Soul and like all these other
Yeah.
things. If you all go to his website, frankebney.com, you'll see all the stuff that he's worked on. So in some ways, and then you did Hair Love, which is like, Academy Award winning and stuff like that. So you kind of have some clout and some flexibility to be able to do those things that not everybody has, but that doesn't mean it's
uh,
easier, necessarily easier.
right, right.
But I
Yeah.
was looking in your Kickstarter, you guys had raised the money for this in like a week or so, like right?
Hmm.
So like there's trust there, there's some built in.
Yeah.
And other
I
people
mean,
are kind of looking and wishing that they could do that kind of thing. So, hats off
I
to you.
mean, even with that, I was scared to do that this time.
Oh,
I
okay,
was like,
okay.
because I was like, it's a different time, and so
Mm.
I was like, damn, will that work again? Because
But the
also,
people came out, they showed out.
yeah, and
You all got funded to do this and it came out beautifully, right?
I mean, this was a different way of going about it. Like, like, even in the credits, you see, like, I ended up taking on a lot more than I was
I
planning on,
saw
and so
you were
I
getting
was
Prince
not.
with it.
I wasn't.
Getting Tyler Perry with it.
I wasn't planning on doing it. Sorry, I
I'm just
wasn't.
saying, you just did everything. Just
I wasn't planning on animating the whole thing. I wasn't
yeah.
planning on doing some. I did like all the lighting and the camera work and stuff, and it's stuff that I learned how to do over time, and through when I was in school, all that stuff. But that was not the plan. But
Hmm.
it turned out to be the plan, because we didn't get. We tried to raise money independently. We got a couple donations that were great and helpful. And we had the support of we had on our executive producer team, we had Nicholas May and Archie Davis and 9B Collective, which is Aldis Hodge and Aldis Hodge, Phil Boutte, Mike Uwandi. They started this black owned concept art company, and so we had that support as well. And between that and just favors and out of pocket expenses, like,
I saw a
we were
lot
able
of
to bring
family
it
names
together.
on there too. Family had to come
Yeah,
through
my
to put that
son, my
offering
daughter,
hat
my
out, that plate. Hey, but that, you know what? But that's, I mean, that's kind of what folks are doing these days. And,
hmm
I'll I'm a big Spike Lee fan, and he just said he's
Yeah.
like, you all can do this. You have a phone right in your hand. You can make a movie.
Mm,
Like if you
right.
really want, if there's a story to be told, right? You
Hmm.
can make it. You work with
Yeah.
what you have, you do what you can, and
Yeah.
you can make it. And sometimes we think so much about, and I think about this a lot. Like for me, black cinema is everything, and I get really
Mm.
discouraged when I hear people say things like, "All we have is trauma. All they want to do is this," and I'm like, you actually don't watch black films because there's no way that you consume black films like that and you say the majority of it is this or what have you.
Yeah.
But I do recognize that accessibility is the issue, right? So on one hand,
Yeah.
you mentioned the streaming, tons of opportunities for folks with streaming. Look at Tubi,
Hmm.
okay? I'm in
Yeah.
two films that are on Tubi right now, okay? Like Tubi is hitting
Nice. Yeah.
and helping people literally with their cell phones in Detroit making these movies.
Yeah.
They're doing it. You got to start somewhere.
Right.
Netflix shows a lot of things. Hulu, like a lot of these things, they're giving more opportunities that folks wouldn't have had 20 years ago, right?
Hmm.
On the other side, though, some of the best like creative minds are at the film festivals, which
Yeah.
are inaccessible to a lot of people,
Yeah.
right? And so there's a gap there, right?
Hmm.
How is this doing at the film festivals?
Yeah, so we just played at Holly Shorts last month. That was in LA at the TCL Chinese Theater, and
Mhm,
then this month we're going to the Harlem International Film Festival and the Burbank International Film Festival, and then
mhm,
we got the Hollywood Black Film Festival coming up in October, and then we got Spark Festival. I think that's this month as
We didn't
well.
see y'all at Black Star.
And
You were at
then
Black Star, were you?
no, no. So that was the other thing. Like I how we went about it with Canvas was we finished late, so we missed
Mhm.
out on a lot of stuff.
Okay, yeah,
And
yeah,
this one too, like we finished like
yeah.
maybe around mid-year, so it was
Okay,
like
that's
there was a
yeah,
lot of stuff, deadlines were already passed.
yeah, yeah. Okay.
But yeah, we have those coming up, and
Oh,
there's some others that we're still waiting on answers from as well. And then
okay.
we're also playing in the Royal Lamley Theater in LA. So we have a week
Mhm.
in that theater in LA on September 26th as well.
Okay.
And
When
so we're
when do the
trying to
masses
get,
get to see it?
huh?
When do the people get to see it? I got to
I
see
mean,
it because I
the
got,
theater.
whatever, but like, how do we make sure that people get to see this,
So
right?
as soon as I get as soon as I get the dates of when when the tickets go on sale in the
Nice.
theater,
Okay.
I'm gonna be posting that left and
Nice.
right. So
We're gonna boost that because people just need to see this, right? They need to see this. Okay, so my
yeah.
last question to you. This film talks so much about love.
Mm.
So for you, how is love showing up in your life and how important is it in to just
Uh,
you every day and what you do?
it's everything. I'd say it from I mean the love of my family that I've felt through. I mean, especially with how tight we are. It's been my mom and sister, and I like since ever since my dad's passing, and we've navigated through everything, and we pick each other up, lift each other up. Whenever my mom was just repeating it the other day, she was like, when one of us is down, we all down. We got so just having the support of them and feeling that unconditional love, and my friends and my fiance, like we've been together 3 years now, and um having a partner that you can fully be yourself with,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
and feel no judgment,
mm-hmm.
give no judgment,
Right.
feel like having that means everything as well. Like it's a I remember talking with her as I'm working on that love scene,
Yeah. Oh, that was
and
beautiful. Yeah.
just the
I'm watching
little
this and I'm seeing y'all, and I'm like, oh, y'all nasty. Y'all done
the
brought to the
little
room with y'all. I was like, wait,
the little
should I be watching this? I don't know. But it was
But
beautiful.
like
It was
just
beautiful.
a little little kiss on the nose, like
Little something.
and just
Little
that
something. Yeah.
that feeling of having that person, having your
Yeah.
person, and because I have two kids and went through a divorce years ago and stuff, and so um I didn't know,
Yeah.
whether or not like I was like, all right, I'm tired. I'm focused on work, and I'm
Yeah.
and,
So many people
and
are
then
just
that
like, you know what? I'm good. Let's just focus
and then
on this other thing that I love, this other passion that I have. Yeah.
yeah, and
Yeah.
it came out of nowhere, and I embraced it, and it's I mean, people say it's the most powerful force in the universe, and I believe that
Mhm.
wholeheartedly, and it's something I think that unifies people, not just romantic love, but love in general. It it's a force that can change people, and to combine that with my love of art and film, like that.
Mhm.
One of my main goals with like presenting my work through film for people to watch is, not wanting people to feel alone
Yeah.
in what they're going through in the day to day. Like with Canvas, it was dealing with loss,
Oh man.
and
That film.
and watching my mom navigate that, because
Yeah.
it was a little bit of watching her dealing with the loss of my dad, but then also how um you can be able to face these things with the support around you, and finding that reclaiming that joy from an unexpected place, which was,
Mhm.
the little girl in that case. And then here it's accepting all those feelings that you have as normal, for one,
Mhm.
whatever normal is, but like accepting those things and knowing that it doesn't make you any less of anything because of, you know being angry, being afraid, being, like, just know that it's fine, and you're gonna be fine. You're like,
Oh, yeah.
and whether or not you think that that time has passed to tell that child, that that child is still in there. That's why in the beginning of
Mhm.
the short, it said, um there's a boy inside I've tried to hide, that
Yeah.
wants to find his way, a boy
Yeah.
whose tears have
Yeah.
dried, that just wants to be okay.
Yeah. I think it's
And
going to resonate so deeply with so
I,
many people that are
I hope so.
journey fans. That's why I'm like, yeah, like when do we get this out? But yeah, no. I mean, it's very clear in both of these works that love is a guiding force for you and that
Mm,
you're connecting to it in ways that I think are aspirational and inspirational for so many other brothers who maybe were never given the tools or the opportunity to
mm,
learn how to experience it in those ways and to let it
mm.
guide them in those ways. So I just think that that's great. I mean, film really
I
is,
appreciate
yeah, no, I appreciate you for making this. I think film is one of the most powerful mediums that we have, especially considering literacy levels and things. People are not reading like they used to.
Yeah.
So much of it, that whole pivot to video thing, that media kind of pushed on us. I mean, it benefits,
Mm,
filmmakers in some ways, but like we have to
yeah,
understand the power of media. That's
definitely.
John Henrik Clark is like, that's where it is. And so we need more stuff like this because we need those
Mm,
messages. Um, Not instead of the other message.
right.
Because I feel like everything is important. Like I feel like everything has its place. It's up to us to choose what we consume. But I also
Hmm.
think having access to films like Black Man
Yeah.
is also really important. So thank
Yeah.
you for that. And thank you for talking with me and chatting
Oh, no
up.
problem.
I love this. I'm honored. I'm
Thank
looking
you.
forward to supporting you all. Just want to put my bid in for a wedding invitation. Just saying, no,
Hey.
no
Yeah.
pressure, no pressure. But I would love to be there. But no, but thank you so much.
Thank you.
Everyone, please, please, please keep your eyes peeled for Black Man. Follow Frank everywhere. I'm going to put the information in the comments. I mean, well, in the description so
No.
that you know where to follow and where to check and where to engage. Also, go to a website, see who you just listened to, okay? Because sometimes, the animators play the back and people don't necessarily know how big they are. But go check out your man, celebrate him. There's not a whole lot of brothers that are able to do what he's doing in the industry right now. So let's celebrate him. Let's
Uh,
hold him. Let's lift him up and let him know that we got his back. Thank you. And I will
I
check in with
appreciate that.
y'all next time. I'm trying to get better at this, folks. All right. Thank you
You're
for
great.
tuning in. Subscribe, like, and I'll see y'all next time.